Fattest player, Oliver Miller, holds one of the craziest records in NBA history. During his 9-year career, Miller's weight fluctuated between 375 and 380 pounds. That made him the heaviest player ever to play in the league, and he was only 6'9". Despite his size, Miller played 493 games across 6 different teams. His best season came with the Raptors, when he averaged almost 13 points, 7 rebounds, nearly 3 assists, and almost 2 blocks per game. After the NBA, he kept playing around the world until 2010. Other massive players include Shaquille O'Neal, who reached 360 pounds, and Eddie Curry, who topped out at 350. Even Taco Fall weighed in at over 300 pounds during his short time in the league, even though he was skinny. Worst three-point percentage. Charles Barkley owns the record for the lowest career three-point percentage among players who've taken at least 1,000 attempts. Barkley shot a rough 26.6% from deep, making 538 threes out of 2,020 tries. Even though he's a Hall of Famer, Barkley's long-range shooting was never a strong part of his game. But he wasn't alone. Corey Brewer finished his career hitting just 28.2% from 3. Josh Smith wasn't much better at 28.5%. Ron Harper, Isaiah Thomas, D. Wade, and Derek Coleman also struggled, each shooting below 30% from beyond the arc. Even some of the greatest players in NBA history had their weaknesses. Shortest player. Muggsy Bogues holds the record as the shortest player in NBA history. Standing at just 5 feet 3 inches, Bogues played an incredible 14 seasons in the league. He was drafted 12th overall by the Washington Bullets in 1987, then became a franchise player for the Charlotte Hornets. Bogues led the team in assists and steals for years. He racked up 6,726 assists, almost 7,000 points, and over 1,300 steals during his career. Even though he was small, Bogues managed to block 39 shots, including one against 7-foot-tall Patrick Ewing. Before the NBA, he starred at Wake Forest, leading the conference in steals and assists. After retiring, he coached in the WNBA and became an ambassador for the Hornets. Worst team. The Charlotte Bobcats hold the record for the worst season in NBA history. During the 2011 to 2012 season, they finished with 7 wins and 59 losses. That gave them a brutal winning percentage of .106, the lowest the league has ever seen. They closed out that season with a painful 23-game losing streak, which even carried over into the next year. Paul Silas was the head coach during this tough stretch. Gerald Henderson led the team in scoring, averaging just over 15 points a game. And after all that losing, they still didn't land the top draft pick. Instead, they got the 2nd overall selection and chose Michael Kidd-Gilchrist in the 2012 draft. That season is a rough chapter in Charlotte's history, but it's one fans and players will never forget. Biggest blown lead. The Denver Nuggets hold the record for the biggest blown lead in NBA history. On November 27, 1996, they were up by 36 points against the Utah Jazz. The Nuggets led 70-34 just before halftime, but things fell apart fast. In the second half, the Jazz outscored them 71-33 and stormed back to win 107-103. Karl Malone put up 31 points and grabbed 17 rebounds. Jeff Hornacek added 21 points, and John Stockton chipped in with 13 points and 12 assists. For Denver, Bryant Stith scored 31, and Dale Ellis dropped 25. Antonio McDyess had 15 points and 11 rebounds, but it wasn't enough. That 36-point collapse is still the largest blown lead in league history. Player traded the most times. Trevor Ariza holds the record for being traded more than anyone in NBA history. He was traded 11 times and played for 10 different teams, covering nearly a third of the entire league. Drafted in 2004 by the New York Knicks, Ariza started his career with limited opportunities. After 2 quick trades, he landed with the Los Angeles Lakers. That's where he finally broke through, becoming a starter during their 2009 championship run against the Orlando Magic. After that, he played for the Houston Rockets, New Orleans Hornets, and Washington Wizards. He returned to Houston in 2014 and had his longest stay, playing 382 games over 4 seasons. Later, he had stints with the Phoenix Suns and Sacramento Kings. In November 2020, he was traded 3 times in just 5 days. His final trade was to the Miami Heat in 2021. Most finals lost. Jerry West holds the record for the most NBA finals losses by any player. During his legendary career with the Los Angeles Lakers, West appeared in 9 NBA Finals between 1962 and 1973. Out of those 9 trips, he only won 1 championship in 1972. That means he lost 8 finals, more than any player in the league history. 6 of those losses came against the Boston Celtics. They beat him in 1962, 1963, 1965, 1966, 1968, and 1969. He also lost twice to the New York Knicks in 1970 and 1973. Despite all those losses, West made history in 1969 by becoming the only player ever to win finals, most valuable player, while playing for the losing team. Worst win percentage. Hollis Thompson holds the record for the lowest personal win percentage in NBA history. During his career, Thompson's teams won just 53 games while losing 212. That gave him a win percentage of only 20% across 265 games played. Most of his time was spent with the Philadelphia 76ers from 2013 to 2017, right in the middle of their rebuild. He also had a brief stint with the New Orleans Pelicans in 2017. Despite the losses, Thompson was a reliable shooter. He averaged nearly 8 points per game, shot over 38% from three-point range, and grabbed just over 3 rebounds per game. But no matter how well he played individually, his teams struggled badly. Worst losing streak. The Detroit Pistons and Philadelphia 76ers are tied for the longest losing streaks in NBA history. Both teams lost 28 games in a row, but under different circumstances. The Pistons streak happened entirely in the 2023 to 2024 season. From October 30th to December 30th, they dropped 28 straight games. They finished that year with a 14-68 record, the worst in franchise history. Monty Williams was their head coach, but was fired in June 2024 after only 1 season. The 76ers streak spanned 2 seasons, from March 27, 2015 to December 1st, 2015. They finished the 2014 to 2015 season at 18-64 and went 10-72 the next year. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to start posting every day. Thanks. Anyways, slowest player. Jared Sullinger holds the record for being the slowest player at the 2012 NBA Draft Combine. He ran the 3/4 court sprint in 3.81 seconds, which was the slowest time recorded that year. In the lane agility drill, he clocked in at 12.77 seconds, also the slowest among all participants. Standing 6 feet 9 inches tall and weighing 268 pounds, Sullinger still managed to get drafted 21st overall by the Boston Celtics. Despite his slow testing numbers, he carved out a solid 5-year NBA career. He averaged almost 11 points and 7.5 rebounds per game. His no-step vertical was 29.5 inches, and his max vertical was 31 inches. Even though speed was not his strength, Sullinger was still a beast. Worst free throw percentage. Ben Wallace holds the record for the lowest career free throw percentage in NBA history among players with at least 1,000 attempts. Over his career, Wallace took more than 2,000 free throws, but only made 41.4% of them. That's the lowest percentage ever recorded by someone with that many tries. Opposing teams often used the hack-a-shack strategy against him, fouling him on purpose to take advantage of his struggles at the line. But even with that weakness, Wallace dominated on the defense. He won 4 NBA Defensive Player of the Year awards and was a huge part of the Detroit Pistons' 2004 championship run. His free throw shooting might have been rough, but his impact on the court was never in question. Most losses. Vince Carter holds the record for the most losses by any player in NBA history. Over his 22 seasons, Carter played for 8 different teams, including the Toronto Raptors, New Jersey Nets, Orlando Magic, Phoenix Suns, Dallas Mavericks, Memphis Grizzlies, Sacramento Kings, and Atlanta Hawks. Across 1,541 regular season games, he experienced 756 losses. That's more than any player in league history. Despite that, he also collected 785 wins, giving him a career winning percentage just over 50%. Carter's long career meant he spent time with teams in every stage, including several rebuilding rosters, but his longevity also helped him rack up more than 25,000 career points and 8 All-Star selections. Most misses. LeBron James holds the record for the most missed field goals in NBA history. Over his long career, James has missed 14,994 shots. But with that many misses comes plenty of makes. He's also knocked down 15,392 field goals. His role as a primary scorer and playmaker on every team he's been with, has led to a massive number of shot attempts. And with a career spanning more than 2 decades, those numbers just kept climbing. Before James, Kobe Bryant held the record with 14,481 misses, while Karl Malone finished with 13,528. James may top the list for missed shots, but he's also the NBA's all-time leading scorer. Most turnovers. LeBron James again. He holds the record for the most turnovers in NBA history. Over his career, James has turned the ball over 5,437 times. As the primary ball handler and playmaker for every team he's played on, James has always carried a huge offensive load. That kind of responsibility leads to a lot of opportunities and mistakes. Right behind him is Russell Westbrook, who's turned it over 4,766 times. Karl Malone ranks third with 4,524, and John Stockton sits fourth with 4,244. All 4 players spent their careers constantly handling the ball, running offenses, and making plays. Most missed dunks. DeAndre Jordan holds the record for the most missed dunks since the NBA began tracking play-by-play stats. He's missed 300 dunks in his career. Even with all those misses, Jordan's been one of the most dominant finishers around the rim. He's racked up seasons with over 200 dunks, including 253 in 2016 to 2017 and 252 in 2014 to 2015. Despite the missed slams, Jordan holds the NBA record for the highest career field goal percentage at 67.4%. He also led the league in rebounds per game for 2 straight seasons, from 2013 to 2015. The missed dunks stand out, but they never stopped Jordan from being a major force in the paint. Most free throws missed in a game. Andre Drummond holds the record after missing 23 free throws in a single game. During the 2015 to 2016 season, the Houston Rockets used the hack-a-Drummond strategy and fouled him 21 times. Drummond ended up shooting 36 free throws, but only made 13. Despite all the misses, Detroit still won the game. If we're looking at most consecutive free throws missed in a game, Chris Dudley missed 13 straight free throws on April 14th, 1990. Dudley was already known for his struggles at the line, and this game took things to another level. He finished his career as one of the worst free throw shooters ever, and for worst free throw percentage in a game by a team. The Detroit Pistons shot a brutal 18% from the line during the 2016 to 2017 season. On March 1st, 2017, they played the New Orleans Pelicans. Andre Drummond shot 1 for 10 and got ejected, capping off a miserable night. Most three-pointers missed in a game. James Harden and Damon Stoudemire share the record for the most missed threes in a single game. Both players missed 16 three-pointers. Harden's done it 6 different times, including an ugly one for 17 performance against the Orlando Magic. Despite that, he still finished with 38 points, 12 assists, and 9 rebounds in that game. Classic Harden. Stoudemire missed 16 threes back in 2005 while playing for the Portland Trail Blazers. That was back when teams were barely shooting 16 threes in an entire game. Both guys kept firing, no matter how many misses piled up. Most field goals missed in a game. Joe Fulks holds the record after missing 42 shots in a single game. During the 1947 to 1948 season, Fulks threw up 55 shots and only made 13. His Philadelphia Warriors were blowing out the Providence Steamrollers, and instead of slowing down, Fulks kept firing. This was long before anyone thought about load management. Back then, these kinds of shooting nights weren't that rare. Fulks also had games where he shot 4 for 31, 6 for 38, 5 for 31, 7 for 36, 7 for 40, and 8 for 46. The man never stopped shooting. Most career technical foul. Karl Malone holds the record for the most technical fouls in NBA history with 332. Right behind him is Charles Barkley, who racked up 329 over his career. Rasheed Wallace sits third with 317, and Gary Payton rounds out the top 4 with 250. These players were known for their intensity, trash talk, and fiery tempers, which led to plenty of whistles from the referees throughout their careers. Worst coaching record. Roy Rubin holds the record for the worst coaching record in NBA history. During the 1972 to 1973 season, Rubin coached the Philadelphia 76ers to a brutal 4-47 record. He had answered an ad in the paper to land the job, but things went downhill fast. The team started 0-15, and it took him a month just to get his first win. After 51 games, Rubin was fired, while the team was in the middle of a 20-game losing streak. Player coach Kevin Lockery took over from there. According to reports, The players had already stopped listening to Rubin weeks earlier, with Fred Carter saying it was like letting a teenager run a big corporation. Rubin even celebrated a preseason win against the Celtics, even though they only played their third stringer's shortest NBA career. James Curry holds the record for the shortest NBA career ever. He played just 4 seconds in a single game for the Los Angeles Clippers during the 2009 to 2010 season. Curry was signed to a 10-day contract and got subbed in during the final moments of a loss to the Boston Celtics on January 25th, 2010. In those 4 seconds, he didn't record any stats. No points, no rebounds, nothing. That was his entire NBA career. Most foul. Kareem holds the record for the most personal fouls in NBA history with 4,657. Right behind him is Karl Malone, who racked up 4,578 fouls during his career. Robert Parrish sits third with 4,443, and Charles Barkley rounds out the top four with 4,421. These players spent years on the court playing physical basketball and often guarding the best players in the league. That kind of longevity and tough play led to a lot of whistles. Longest suspension. Meta World Peace, formerly known as Ron Artest, holds the record for the longest suspension in NBA history for an on-court incident. He was suspended 86 games after his role in the Malice at the Palace Brawl on November 19, 2004. The fight broke out between the Indiana Pacers and Detroit Pistons after Artest fouled Ben Wallace with under a minute left in the game. Things escalated when a fan threw a drink at Artest, leading him to charge into the stands. The brawl involved players and fans, and Artest was suspended for the rest of the season, 73 regular season games and 13 playoff games. He also lost around $5 million in salary. That suspension still stands as the longest in league history. Most playoff games without a championship. Karl Malone and John Stockton hold the records for the most playoff games played without ever winning an NBA title. Malone appeared in 193 playoff games during his time with the Utah Jazz and Los Angeles Lakers. He averaged 24.7 points, 10.7 rebounds, and 3.2 assists in the postseason. Stockton played in 182 playoff games, all with the Utah Jazz. He averaged 13.4 points, over 10 assists, and nearly 2 steals per game in the playoffs. Both players led the Jazz to the NBA Finals in 1997 and 1998, but lost both times to the Chicago Bulls. Malone made one more Finals appearance in 2004 with the Lakers, but never won a championship. Most turnovers in a game. Jason Kidd holds the record for the most turnovers in a single game with 14. It happened during the 2000 to 2001 season in a matchup against the New York Knicks. At the time, Kidd was playing his final year with the Phoenix Suns. Even with all those turnovers, he still managed to finish with a triple-double, 18 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists. If you count the turnovers, he had a quadruple-double that night. Worst, plus-minus. Sharif Abdur-Rahim holds the record for the lowest career plus-minus in NBA history, with a total of minus 2,904. Over 12 seasons, he played for the Vancouver Grizzlies, Atlanta Hawks, Portland Trail Blazers, and Sacramento Kings. Despite his individual success, averaging over 18 points and 7.5 rebounds per game, his teams consistently struggled. Most of his career was spent on rebuilding squads that racked up losses, which dragged his plus-minus down. Even with the rough team records, Abdur-Rahim was an all-star in 2002, made the all-rookie first team in 1997, and won an Olympic gold medal in 2000. After retiring, he worked in front offices and later became the president of the NBA G League. Most three-pointers missed in a game without a make for a team. The Denver Nuggets hold this record after missing all 22 of their three-point attempts in a game during the 2012 to 2013 season. It happened against the Portland Trail Blazers in December 2012. Despite going 0 for 22 from deep, Denver only lost that game by 8 points. This was the same Nuggets team that had games where J.R. Smith hit 11 threes and Ty Lawson made 10 in a row. But let's make it, most consecutive three-pointers missed. The Houston Rockets missed 27 straight threes in Game 7 of the 2018 Western Conference Finals. They started with a double-digit lead at halftime, but couldn't buy a bucket from deep. James Harden went 2 for 13, Eric Gordon went 2 for 12, and Trevor Ariza missed all 9 of his attempts. The Rockets ended up losing 101-92, and their shot at the NBA Finals vanished. Longest playoff drought. the Los Angeles Clippers hold the record for the longest playoff drought in NBA history, missing the postseason for 15 straight seasons. The drought lasted from the 1976 to 1977 season through the 1990 to 1991 season. During that time, the franchise went through major changes, starting as the Buffalo Braves, relocating to San Diego in 1978, and then moving to Los Angeles in 1984. The team struggled with losing records, constant coaching changes, and frequent roster turnover. They finally ended the drought in the 1991 to 1992 season, finishing with a 45-37 record. In the playoffs, they lost to the Utah Jazz in a 5-game series. Even after snapping the streak, the Clippers continued to face challenges until the Lob City era in the early 2010s. Fewest Field, goals made in a game for a team. The Orlando Magic hold the record after making just 16 field goals in a single game. It happened during the 2011 to 2012 season in a matchup against the Boston Celtics. On that night, Orlando shot a brutal 16 for 65 from the field and lost 87-56. The team was still a playoff contender at the time, but they completely fell apart offensively in that game. Ryan Anderson went 0 for 8, Dwight Howard shot 4 for 15, and Jameer Nelson made just 2 of his 5 attempts. The bench did not fare much better. Glenn Davis shot 2 for 9, missed both of his shots. As a team, they hit only 4 out of 16 three-point attempts. It was one of the worst offensive performances in NBA history. Biggest halftime deficit. The Sacramento Kings hold the record for the largest halftime deficit in NBA history, trailing by 47 points. It happened during the 1991 to 1992 season in a game against the Golden State Warriors. By halftime, the Kings were down 88-41. The Warriors, led by Tim Hardaway and Chris Mullin, completely dominated from start to finish. Mitch Richmond, who had recently joined the Kings from Golden State, did not play that night. The Warriors shot 57.4% from the field, dished out 38 assists, and grabbed 60 rebounds. Sacramento struggled badly, shooting just under 40% and committing 28 turnovers. Golden State cruised to a 153-91 win. Least points. The Chicago Bulls hold the record for the fewest points scored in an NBA game since the shot clock was introduced in 1954. On April 10th, 1999, the Bulls managed just 49 points in a blowout loss to the Miami Heat. The final score was 82-49 at the United Center. Chicago scored only 8 points in the first quarter and 10 points in the third. They shot a brutal 23.4% from the field, making just 18 of 77 attempts. From three-point range, they missed all 9 shots. They even struggled at the line, hitting 13 of 24 free throws. Cornell David led the Bulls with 13 points and 10 rebounds, while Tony Kukoc added 10 points. For Miami, Tim Hardaway finished with 22 points, and Alonzo Mourning added 19, along with 7 blocks. Lowest scoring quarter for a team. 2 teams share the record for the lowest scoring quarter in NBA history, each putting up just 2 points. The Dallas Mavericks did it first during the 1996 to 1997 season. On April 6, 1997, they scored only 2 points in the third quarter against the Los Angeles Lakers. Dallas actually led by 14 at halftime, but missed all 15 of their shots in that quarter. Their only points came from 2 free throws by Derek Harper. They ended up losing 87-80. The Golden State Warriors matched the record during the 2003 to 2004 season. On February 8, 2004, they scored 2 points in the fourth quarter against the Toronto Raptors. Golden State had a 16-point lead going into the fourth, but collapsed completely. The Raptors tied the game at 81 and forced overtime. Toronto then outscored the Warriors 3-0 in overtime and won 84-81. Fastest ejection. Rasheed Wallace holds the record for the fastest ejection in NBA history. On December 2nd, 2012, Wallace was tossed just 1 minute and 25 seconds into a game between the New York Knicks and the Phoenix Suns. His first technical came after a hard foul on Luis Scola, which he immediately argued with the officials. Moments later, after Goran Dragic missed a free throw, Wallace shouted his signature line, "Ball don't lie," that earned him his second technical foul and an early trip to the locker room. Wallace was no stranger to technicals, leading the league multiple times during his career. Even with his quick exit, the Knicks went on to win the game 106-99. Most games missed. Joel Embiid holds the record for the most games missed in NBA history due to injury for a star. As of February 28, 2025, Embiid has missed 400 games in his career. He's played in 446 games. meaning he's missed nearly 47% of his possible regular season appearances. Embiid has battled injuries throughout his career, and he's currently ruled medically unable to play for the rest of the 2024 to 2025 season because of a lingering left knee injury. Despite all the missed time, Embiid remains one of the most dominant big men in the league when he's on the court. Least assists. Wilt Chamberlain holds the record for scoring the most points in a game without recording a single assist. On January 13, 1962, Chamberlain dropped 73 points in a game where he did not register an assist. His Philadelphia Warriors beat the Chicago Packers 135-117. Chamberlain shot 29 for 48 from the field and made 15 of 25 free throws. He also grabbed 36 rebounds that night. That season, Chamberlain averaged an unbelievable 50.4 points per game, including his famous 100-point game later that year. Even without passing for a single basket, he dominated the game in scoring and rebound. Most technical fouls in a season. Rasheed Wallace holds the record with 41 technical fouls in a single season. It happened during the 2000 to 2001 campaign while he was playing for the Portland Trail Blazers. Wallace picked up those 41 technicals in just 80 games. That kind of total isn't even possible under today's rules. Now players are suspended for one game after their 16th technical and for every additional technical after that. But back then, Wallace's constant arguing with referees led him straight into the record books. Most missed layups. Since the NBA began tracking play-by-play data in 1996 to 1997, Russell Westbrook holds the record for the most missed layups. Westbrook has missed 2,898 layups in his career. Right behind him is LeBron James, who's missed 2,617. Carmelo Anthony comes in third with 2,563, and Allen Iverson rounds out the list with 2,301 missed layups. Worst finals record for a team. The Orlando Magic hold the record for the worst winning percentage in NBA Finals history, with a record of 1 win and 8 losses. They've made 2 appearances in the finals. In 1995, they were swept 4-0 by the Houston Rockets. Game 1 was especially painful, with Nick Anderson missing 4 straight free throws late, allowing the Rockets to tie it and win in overtime. In 2009, the Magic faced the Los Angeles Lakers and lost the series 4-1. Their only finals win came in Game 3 of that series, where they pulled out a 108-104 victory. Despite strong playoff runs led by stars like Shaquille O'Neal and Dwight Howard, the Magic still hold an 11.1% winning percentage in the finals, the lowest of any team. Most 3-1 leads blown. Doc Rivers is the only coach in NBA history to blow 3 separate 3-1 series leads in the playoffs. The first came in 2003 when his 8th-seeded Orlando Magic were up 3-1 on the top-seeded Detroit Pistons. The Magic lost the next 3 games and dropped the series 4-3. In 2015, Rivers' Los Angeles Clippers held a 3-1 lead over the Houston Rockets in the Western Conference semifinal. They even had a 19-point lead in Game 6 before collapsing. The Rockets came back and won the series 4-3. Then in 2020, Rivers' Clippers blew another 3-1 lead, this time against the Denver Nuggets. The Clippers had double-digit leads in Games 5 and 6 but couldn't hold on. Denver won the series in 7 games. No other coach has lost 3 series after leading 3-1. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here. I would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.